started here. Okay, we're gonna go to the Bible here. And we're gonna start out with Exodus Exodus 10. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, because I drew him out of the water. And it came to pass in those days that Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brother and looked upon the burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren. Let's go back. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto him, take this child and nurse it for me, and I will give thee wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. All right. Well, this is talking about when Pharaoh's daughter took Moses, and she wanted to raise him as her own. Yeah, there we go. And the child grew, and she brought him up. She brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. Okay, so the biblical Egyptians saw a baby floating in the river, and she took it to be her son. So let's see what the Egyptians look like. The Egyptians were the sons of Ham. It says this is Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. The youngest son of Noah, probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. So this here is saying the Egyptians were a dark-skinned people, much unlike the people that they show us in the movies. Well, that being said, so Moses had to be a dark-skinned child if his mother was, if the Egyptian was going to raise him as hers. That being said, 2 and 19. So when here we go. Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and held them and watered their flock. And when they came to Ruel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? They said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. So these women saw Moses, and automatically he was dressed like an Egyptian. So they said, this Egyptian helped us draw water. So that right there tells you that Moses had to look like the Egyptians. Okay, so Moses, the Lord spoke to Moses, and he told him, look, I need you to go back to Pharaoh and talk to the people. And we start out at Exodus 4:1. And Moses answered and said, Behold, they will not believe me nor hearken to my voice, for they will say, The Lord hath not appeared unto thee. And the Lord said unto him, What is that in thine hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And the Lord said unto Moses, Put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob have appeared unto thee. And the Lord said furthermore unto thee, Put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and then he took it out, and behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, Put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. So if Moses grew up as Pharaoh's daughter's child, the Egyptians being the sons of Ham, the dark-skinned people, then Moses had to look like a dark-skinned person. Then Moses, putting his hand in his bosom, pulled it out, and it was white, leprous as snow. He put it back in, and it became the color of his flesh again. So it's looking like these the Israelites were a dark-skinned people. Okay. Exodus 12. And the Lord came down in a pillar of a cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. He said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore, then, were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when it cometh out of the mother's womb. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and people journeyed not till Miriam was brought back in. So Miriam was turned white, leprous as snow, for talking stuff against Moses. So she couldn't have been white to begin with. And Aaron said, Please don't put this sin on me. Being white, that's a straight up sin. Or having your flesh, being able to see through the blood through your flesh. Let's go to another account. This is the account of Elisha. I don't know if you've read the story, but Naaman was a Syrian, and uh, one of his servants said that there was a prophet in Israel that could clear him of his leprosy. So Naaman came to Elisha, and Elisha told him to dip in the Jordan 7 times. So he healed him. And then Elisha's servant thought he was going to get over. So we'll start off right here. Okay. Yeah, Elisha said he didn't want any payment for it, but okay. Here we go. I'll just read the whole account. So Naaman came with his horses, with his chariots, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, and went away, and said, Behold, I thought he will surely come out to me, and stand and call on the name of Yahweh his God, and strike his hand over the place, and recover the leper. and not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus. Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid thee do some great thing, wouldest thou not have done it? How much rather then when he say to thee, Wash and be clean? Then he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of Yahweh, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of God, and he and all his company, and came and stood before him, and he said, Behold, now I know there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. But he said, As the Lord liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules, burden of earth? For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto Yahweh. In this thing the Lord pardon thy servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leaneth on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon. When I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardon thy servant in this thing. And he said unto him, Go in peace. So he departed from him a little way. Good. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master hath spared Naaman this Syrian, in not receiving at his hands that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, It is all well? And he said, All is well. My master hath sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garment. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged them and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha unto him, Whence cometh thou, Gehazi? He said, Thy servant went no whither. He said unto him, Went not mine heart with thee? When the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee, is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and servants and men servants and maid servants? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper, as white as snow. So prior to this event, this man was not a leper and white as snow. Let's go to another account. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's kind of self-explanatory. Wow. You got all of these precepts. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. They are black unto the ground. Kedar, dark skin. Lamentations. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It is become like a stick. Their visage, shape, form, outline, figure, appearance. Their appearance. Judah's appearance, black as a coal. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Skin, hide, skin, awar. Kamar. Be black. Song of Solomon 1 and 5. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. I am black. Daniel 7 and 9, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair on his head like the pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and wheels as burning fire. So he said his hair was like the pure wool. What is this? Check this out. Oh, come on. Pure wool. Look at that. Pure wool. So let's look and see how they describe. What does that look like? Come on. I don't know what happened with that. But it says English adjectives such as woolly, kinky, nappy. That's how they describe people. I guess afro textured hair. To be described naturally, afro textured hair. Curly hair, woolly, fleecy. Refers to afro textured hair. So, the Most High, it's got afro textured hair. Let's go to, okay. Let's go to our go-to Revelations. Revelations 1 and 13. Oh, Revelations. And in the midst of the seven candles, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the garments down to his foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. His feet were like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So let's look and see if we can get us burnt brass. See what this looks like. The color of burnt brass. Sure doesn't look like that. Burnt brass doesn't look like that, buddy. Yep, burnt brass looks a whole lot more like that than it does like that. But you know, they change up things to make them the way they want them nowadays. So you know, hell, a man can be a woman. Burnt brass can be pale skin. Shit. Ezekiel. Okay, listen. Also, out of the midst there came the likeness of four living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, and every one had four faces, and every one had four wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. It was burnished brass, polished, brightened, burnished, polished clothes. And unto the angel of the church in Thyatira write, these things saith the Son of God, who have his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet are like fine brass. Let me go back to that. Fine brass. Let's see. Fine brass. They go off. They want to make it sound what? Whiteness of brilliancy? No. Let's see. We got here. You know, Esau wants to make him himself burnished brass, so he gonna say, you know what? He has some cow skin shoes on. With some boots. Yeah, the Savior has some. Yahweh came back with some cow skin boots. That's why his feet wasn't white like his head, huh? These devils. Oh. That's not a very good example. Wow. Yeah, it's not a very good example. Well, I believe that I have shown that the biblical Hebrew Israelites were a dark skinned stock with woolly hair. I mean, Esau's always going to change it and put his narrative on it, and, you know, everybody's got to be him. Nobody's done anything good except for him. He's a culture vulture. But that being said, uh, like to say, Shalom.